Hello everyone, welcome back. So we were currently working with the Panda challenge. So far we have seen about the challenge and then we have seen something about the data. So now I thought I will start working with some basic model, and this model is not going to perform well, but just to get started. And in this video, I want to cover a few features that are available with TensorFlow, and I found those things useful, particularly for this particular competition. So mainly, I'm going to talk about TensorFlow Hub and how to use it, how to retrain a model that is provided in TensorFlow Hub, and then I'm going to talk about TensorFlow add-ons, which has a lot of cool stuff. Mainly, we will be using the metrics that is provided from the TensorFlow add-ons to make it easy to monitor our model training. So those are the two main things which we are going to see today, and then we will build a simple model out of it. We will train it, and then we will do inferencing also. I guess I will cover the inferencing part in another video, and then following it up with diving deeper into this particular competition and trying to get more points out of it. So this video will be your introduction to how you can build a model using all the the previous things which which I just said, that we're using TensorFlow. So I will just go into the code walkthrough. So right now I'm just in the first cell we are importing all the necessary things. So TensorFlow and then TensorFlow Hub, CV and SK image for reading images, Matplotlib, pandas, and everything. So standard stuff. And before going into that, because I'm just doing this for recording, I'm just keeping the accelerator as none. So we have GPU and TPU options. So this code works well with GPU. When you want to train this model, you have to select this GPU and then you have to run this one to get the benefits of GPU. And then if you want to train it for a longer time, you have to actually save. So I will talk about all the things later. I'm just letting you know. So right now I'm running it on CPU. Nothing is happening in the GPU side. And then TensorFlow add-on, actually we have to the Kaggle kernel doesn't come with TensorFlow add-ons on its own. We have to install it. So this is a way how you can run Linux commands from Jupyter notebooks. So exclamatory mark followed by the Linux command. So we are just going to install pip install TensorFlow add-ons, which will install all the TensorFlow add-ons, and then we are importing it TFIA. And then we are going to go ahead with reading the data frame, CSV train.csv file, which is provided into a data frame. And then we are just going to get some basic things about the name of the files and etc. So nothing different here. I'll just quickly run all the cells also, and I hope there are no errors. Yeah. So this one looks like we are getting some error. For some reason the data is not here. Okay, it's not a big deal. So just click on I'll just take this time to just show you. So click on add data and then competition data, and here you can find the competition and just click add. So it will actually mount you the required thing. So now this should work. Okay, so done. Let's just do the same thing. So I'll just get the file names and everything. Yeah, I'm just going to print this count. Okay, I think this is from leftover cell, not needed maybe. So image generator. So what I'm doing here is I just need to feed in the images and the label to the model so that it could learn for every approach, right? So while you need to feed in, you can do two things. You can have all the data in your RAM, and then you can train a model from it, but you need a huge RAM because like the data is really big, right, in our case. So I just went ahead with writing a generator which will just yield yield the array, the image array, and then the label which is required for training the model. This actually saves a lot of space in your RAM. It is a bit easier to load the data, feed the data into your model, and making it like you don't require a huge amount of RAM space. So this is pretty simple only. So I'm just defining a generator. I'm just passing in like data frame, batch size, and image paths, and what is the size I want to have. So I'll be using 512 cross 512, and then I'm just going to take a iterator of this TF. So iterator is going to be like another generator. This is provided by Panda actually, which will be yielding you each row whenever you call the next function on it. So it will yield the next one, or you can do it as a for, you can put it in the for loop also, but I'm just going to use next function to take the next one. So I'm just going to define an infinite while loop, while true, and then I'm just going to define three main things. So image list, mask list, and label list. And I am actually not using this mask list because like there is no, initially I was using this mask for like shrinking the size of the images, but it is not working because there is no mask provided in the train dataset. So it's not a good approach to follow when we are training, right? So I'm not using anything with the mask, so I'm just putting it there. I will probably remove it after this. So image list and label list. And now count is nothing but just keeping you the count on how much data you want. So we are fetching it from batch size, right? So batch size of 2 means we need to have 2 images in it. So the while loop starts. We'll just get the image ID and the row out of it, out of the data from iterator. So image path is nothing but image path, which is going to be provided by the user, and then the image ID, and then .diff, and the same for mask, but I'm not going to read the mask. So as you can see, I'm just reading the image from the image file, and then I'm just going to resize it and then append it to the image list. So resizing, this one will be a pretty big image, so -1, this will be the last resolution, but still that is going to be bigger what our model can learn. So I'm just going to resize into the size which is going to be provided by the user, and I'm going to store it. So interesting thing about this TF label. So here we are going to what we are going to receive in the row is a grade column. Here, as you can see, a numerical value we are going to receive 0 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 0 to 5 we are going to receive, right? So but we need a one hot encoder because I'm going to do I'm going to have softmax as an activation in my last layer. So I need to convert it to one hot encoder. So the fastest way to convert it is like tf keras util and then dot to categorical. So this will convert whatever number into the one hot encoding based on the number of classes. So in our case, number of classes is 6, so which we are going to pass in. So it will convert it and then it will store it. So this will be the one hot encoded vector, and then this will be the list of images. So once that is done, we need to normalize it. I'm just going to divide it by 255 for now, but I will do mean and standard deviation based normalization in our upcoming video. Just for like getting us started. So this will be yielded. So yeah, so this is what we're going to get out of this transformer. Now I have first I thought I will just show you about this standard process till now using the application function that is provided by TensorFlow and Keras. I will just quickly go to the TF Keras. So this is a traditional standard way with which we are using pre-trained models. That is mainly when we are talking about TensorFlow. So this is TF Keras.application. They have given a bunch of models. This one I think most of us has used, like at least in this form. I guess Keras applications. So in this traditional Keras side, we have used it. So they will be giving a lot of things: exception net, VGG, RESTnet, efficient net. This is a new addition, to be honest. Efficient net is newly added, and then dense net, mobile net, whatever. So the same way, we can also do the same thing from here. So we can take the model from here. So this will also come with pre-trained weights. If you want, you can add it. So, but I'm not actually going to use this one actually. So I'm just going to use the TF hub. But I just wanted to show you this exists. So here you can see I'm just going to define a new input layer, 512 cross 512 cross 3, and then I'm going to call this TF Keras dense, and then I'm going to pass all the important things. So yeah, I'm just going to remove the top layer, and then I need a weight as ImageNet weights. Since I'm removing the top layer, this doesn't matter. So I'm just instead of setting none, I'm just setting it 2000, like nothing. It doesn't change any fact actually. And then I'm going to take the last output of this one, so which will be some activation function from a convolution layer or a batch normalization layer. So I'm just going to pass it through global average pooling, and then I'm going to pass it through a dense layer of size 6, so number of clauses, and then softmax to get it. And then I will make a model out of it. So input will be the input image, and then output will be the output, which we are going to, which is a softmax layer, and then Adam optimizer, and then categorical cross entropy. This one should be false. So since I was previously trying out with sigmoid, and then I went into softmax, so I was just testing out few other things. So this should be false. So this is what the model which you are going to get from the Keras application side. So now we will talk about TF and TF hub side. So before going into that, I'll just quickly go through this TF hub page. Here you can find really good information about how and how easy it is to use, and what are the things you can do with the TF hub. So TF hub is, like as it name stands, this is a place where you can find a lot of pre-trained models and pre-trained weights, a lot of information which are like ready to use out of the box. You don't need to like code any of the models or any of the layers or anything by yourself. Everything is there. You just call it, and then you can build, and then you can start with predicting things, or you can most probably retrain and utilize it, right? So that's what we are also going to use. So you can just go to the browse models on TF data, TF hub, sorry, and then you can go to discover our hub, or no, yeah, here browse by problem domain. So whichever domain you want, they have given 3 domains: image, text, and video. Whichever domain you want, you can just go and get to know about what they have. So here you can see a lot of list here. So a bit is like a newer version which was released from Google, which I'm just experimenting with. I'm also not completely sure on what is, how efficient that is. And efficient net, you can find a lot of other things also. So mnasnet, bit, the same thing, mobile net, everything is here. And yeah, so you can just explore it and understand more about it. I'll just quickly go through what you need to do for if you want to do transfer learning. So transfer learning, they have given this particular task, particular feature, like image feature vector, which is going to serve as like only the top portion of it without the prediction part of the model. We only need that one, where our prediction is going to be different based on our data requirement, right? So we are going to swap out, and then so they have just given only the top under this section. So just go ahead and remove all the other things, and then all the other filters, and then only keep the image feature vector for our use. I'll just quickly do that. So I'm just having image feature vector. So these are the image feature vectors for various models. Efficient net bit, everything is there. I'll just go ahead and click something. So this is a really big one, but we are not going to use this one. Just to show. So once you click something, you can find more information about it. You can find how you can download the model offline if you want, or you can just use this link, you can call it, and this is a more preferred way if you're using any cloud based thing. So if you're using Kaggle or Colab or anything, you can just follow this one. So they are given more information about how you can fine tune it. And then I'm just going through this paper, I haven't completely gone through it. So they have given some methods on how to efficiently fine tune based on this bit architecture. So I'm going through that, and you can find more information about the paper, where it is published and all. So usage is pretty simple. You just call this one with the link which you are linked for this appropriate model, and then it will take care of all the other required things. So yeah, okay, I'll just go back here. Here I will just walk through on how it is done. So number of classes is equal to 6, and then I'm going to do fine tune. I'm going to set it to true. So this is the link which we got. So I'm using bit SR 101 times 1 cross 1. I'm going to use this one to just get started with this. So how you need to do is you have to use hub.keras layer function, where you can actually load all the download all the things, and you can load all the load everything you need. So that's how it works. So here I'm just going to make a sequential model. I found this one more useful to do, easy to do actually. So input layer is going to contain the 512 cross 512 shape input layer, and then we are going to call hub.keras layer. We are going to pass in the link, and then do I need to fine tune it? Yeah, I need to fine tune it. So this will just yield the CNN part of it, which will not contain the prediction part of it. So I'm just going to add the prediction layer. So I'm just going to add some dropout, and then I'm going to add a dense net. So dense layer with 6 class, and then softmax as the thing. And then we have to, once this is done, since we are using the hub, we need to call build function actually to actually build it. So if you're not calling this build function, you can't actually train this model or do anything productive with this model. You have to build it. So you have to pass in the input size, of the model, and then you have to call the build function. And then I'm just printing the summary, and other system optimizers. I'm just using Atom optimizer and categorical cross entropy, and I'm going to set from logits is equal to false. So if I'm not using not even softmax, not even soft sigmoid actually. So previously I was experimenting with no activation function. That's why I was using from logits is equal to true. So my bad. I just got a bit confused actually with I was just trying out several things, so I just got confused. So if you're not using any activation function, you have to set this from logits is equal to true. So what it will do is it will just apply a log, and then it will do the training for you. So if you're not applying any activation function, then you're just purely getting the logits of it with no log function applied, log or exponential function applied. Then you can choose this from logits is equal to true. Since we are applying softmax, which is we are going to apply exponential function, so we have to set this as false. Yeah, so that does that optimizer loss function. I'm just going to return everything. So I'm just going to run this one, and then I'm going to call this function, which will give me a model optimizer and loss function. So once that is done, I'm just going to compile the model. So so compiling the model is pretty simple. Compile model.compile, and then optimizer, I'm going to pass in the optimizer which we got, Atom optimizer, and then loss function is categorical cross entropy. And then here we are going to use the metrics. So there I wasn't able to, there's no implementation of Cohen Kappa metrics in TensorFlow stack actually. So the TensorFlow add-ons as this one implemented. So why we are using Kohan Kappa is because this very project, this very competition is being evaluated based on Kohan Kappa. So if I need to monitor my model, I can't just monitor it using Keras is not defined. Okay, not a problem. Just I will just put tf.keras. Yeah, not a big problem. Okay. So yeah, as I was saying, Kohan Kappa is what we are going to use to monitor it because we need to know how well this model is performing in the evaluation function, so we can precisely stop or monitor how the training is going on. So I'm going to import it from the TF add-ons. So TF add-on is also pretty simple, straightforward. So you can just go here, get to know about TF add-ons, and then if you want to know what are all inside, you just go into the API tab. You can find all the things. So we are using the metrics one. So metrics score and kappa. So there are other things also, F1 score, etc., loss functions. This is like experimental or well tested, but they don't want to add it to the TensorFlow yet. So those things they are given in the add-on functions. We can just play with a lot of things here. Layers, we'll find instance normalization, group normalization, all these implementations happening here. So if you find anything interesting and if you want to test out before going into coding a custom layer, you just give it a shot at TensorFlow add-ons. There could be some implementation for what you're looking. So yeah, so that's the thing. So that is done. We are just going to compile it, and yeah, this is the model summary. Here you can see, so keras layer, so this is what going to contain the BIT 101 model for us. So here you can see a lot of parameters. I don't know the actual number count, lakh or million or whatever, so I'm just going to give it up to you guys to decide. So that is that, and then we are going to have the dropout layer, and then we are going to have the prediction layer. Now I'm just going to call the generator. I'm just going to I'm doing a very bad train and validation split. We will use stratified k-fold in our future. This is just to like get started. So I'm just going to pass in all the rows except last 1,000 rows, and then I'm just going to use the last 1,000 rows as a validation. So this is not a good thing to do, just to get us started. I'm going to define a model checkpoint callback where I will just store the weight into this one. Train. So yeah, that's it. And then the key here is, since we are using Kohan Kappa from TFA, I'm just going to save only the best model weight, and then I'm just going to define this best one. I'm just going to find the best model based on best model and best approach based on only looking at this particular metric. So validations Kohan Kappa. So the Kohan Kappa metrics which we got in the validation data, that is going to define us whether this is an improvement over our previous approach or not, and then should I remove the previous saved model in the disk and then overwrite it with this new one. So that decision is taken based on this one. So I'm just going to let model know, so that I will just have only the best model saved. So once this is done, I'm just going to run it for 30 approach, and then I'm going to fit it to like I'm just going to call model.fit generator, passing in all the useful information there. So this is the brief overview of this code. So I can run it, but it will take a while to finish. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pause the video here. I will run it, and then I will come back, and then I will show you what actually happened and how it looks. So yeah, so I will cut it here, and then we'll come back. Yeah, hello guys. Now I have completed all the things. So I have ran the model training also for 30 epochs. So this what you are seeing right now is not related to that, but I'll just show you how to run your run your script for a longer time. So you have to commit, then only you can run your scripts for a longer time. So here you can see those save version. You just go there and then click save and run all commit option. This will save and then run your notebook for a longer time. So after selecting the appropriate one, so GPU. So right now I'm just doing some other test in CPU, so I'm not using it. So you have to select GPU and then go to the save version and do the appropriate one. So this is the saved version. So it took me around 6 to 7 hours to run this entire notebook. So we definitely have a lot of work to cut down the time for loading it. So the main thing is like we are loading from TIFF files directly. We are not doing any optimization over there, just to experiment with what we have, right? So we are doing that, which is not an ideal solution. So we have to do that in our future video. We'll do that. So I will quickly go to the results we got. So these are the training metrics we got. So we ran for 30 epochs on the same BIT model based feature extractor, followed by prediction. So here you can see, so this is the outputs which we are getting. So since we have used TF add-ons Cohen Kappa metrics calculator, so this is giving us those values. So here you can see first validation Cohen Kappa is like 0.26 for our validation batch, which is not the ideal one, but so it keeps increasing, and we were hitting a maximum of 57 at some point, and it is 57.21 at some point, and that's the max for this 30 run epochs. So since we have set our model checkpoint to be like monitor val Cohen Kappa and then save best value only, so which means like only the best value will be stored and we don't need to worry about other things. So after this 30 epochs we will be having that. So here you can see, so this is the metrics which I'm monitoring here. So val Cohen Kappa, so whatever epochs is greater, it will be stored, the weights will be stored appropriately. And I also cross verified it just to uh, be sure like whether the metrics are working. So I just used sklearn Cohen Kappa metrics to evaluate the last final weights. These are not the best weights actually, this is like the last weights. So if I go here, so the last weights are this one. So 0.52 last weights performance on the validation 0.5255. So yeah, it's on the same page 5268. Okay, fine. So and then I'm just going to zip all the weights. So I'm going to save it and then I'm going to zip all the weights. So this is done for the training, and inferencing is what we are going to do to submit our work to the competition, so we could evaluate. So first thing what we have to do is we have to save these weights and then convert it into a data set which is provided by a space where we could have your file stored, which is provided by Kaggle, and it makes it easy to load those data. So weight files, we can you can download it to your system and then you can upload it or anything. But the obvious one, which is more easier way to do, is like whenever you are saving something and then you are committing the notebook, the outputs, you get an option to directly make them into a data set. So here you can see, so these are the outputs. So here you can see the PB files, the zip file, everything is there. This is the output coming from this notebook. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click new data set and then new dataset version. For you it will be different. You will be like create new dataset or something, because like I already have made a dataset out of it. So here you can see Panda IT 31v1. So just by give some new name, new version name, and then I will just select the appropriate one which I want. So for me, I don't want the zip file. So zip file is for downloading it to my system, whereas the other file is for like directly loading it into the model. So I'll just keep this thing, and then if I click create, this data set will be created, and then this can be called into other Kaggle notebooks wherever you want to import. So we'll talk about this when we do a big video on when we do a video on inferencing and submission. I'll just quickly go over and I will show the performance of this current model and how it stands in the leaderboard. Uh, I'm just curious to see that, so I just made a inference notebook and I submitted it to see where we are currently at. And it's not a good place. We have to still work more on that. So currently, this particular notebook and the way the approach we took, it is not performing well, and we are just getting a 0.13 Cohen Kappa metrics for the training for the testing data, which is being used for testing this competition public testing data. So we have a lot of work to do, and we are definitely not going to do. So this is our initial testing, right? So yeah. So on the next video, we will start. We have multiple options. I'm just thinking about like we can have a one video on Cohen Kappa evaluation metrics, which is really important, and then a video on getting started with the same work in PyTorch also, so we get to know both the worlds, TensorFlow and Python. And then I will definitely start about a video on how to actually utilize the data. So currently we are not utilizing it correctly. So we are just taking the image and then putting it. So that's not the thing. We have to make them into patches and then we have to feed it to the neural network. So and that's the appropriate way which the other competitions are using it, and they are they are like happy, and they are like they are sharing those codes. So which I will be explaining, and then I will be going through that. So we'll do that, and then we will improve our model, and yeah, hopefully we'll just get into the top positions or something like that. So yeah, so with that I will just end this video. So thanks for watching, and yeah, we'll see you in the next video.